Welcome in. This is the Golden Boot Podcast. I'm your host, George Hancock. I'm joined by Cody Slavinsky and, as always, Vandy Chris. Tonight, well, I say tonight because it's dark where I am. You may be watching it at a different time of day, in the morning, afternoon, nighttime, whatever. It doesn't matter. We're talking Arkansas Razorbacks. We're previewing the SEC and our little mini-sodes. So let's get this thing kicked off. The Arkansas Razorbacks. Now, I am a Hog fan. I've been a Hog fan for a while. Ever since I can walk, probably. I'm from Arkansas. So yes, I have lived through the glory days. And I have lived through the worst of days.
Well, I mean, you are alive right now, so that makes sense.
I am alive right now. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So you know, it is what it is. But we're going to talk some Arkansas Razorbacks, what's coming up in the 2024 season. Starting off with the obvious, we got to talk about this. Arkansas shocked the world last year in picking up controversial figure in Bobby Petrino as their offensive coordinator. I didn't see it coming. I don't think any of you saw it coming. I know
Not at all.
there was rumors that it could happen. I didn't think it could ever happen because of laying down a motorcycle and all that mess that I don't want to talk about for 30 minutes. But I mean, you saw some glimpses of the old school Bobby Petrino and A&M, saw some success. A lot of people think this is Sam Pittman's replacement. That remains to be seen, but it's at least a conversation to be had. How beneficial is Bobby Petrino going to be with the Arkansas Razorbacks once again? Chris, Cody, somebody?
So it's just a weird thought.
It is a weird thought, I know, but nobody said a word. Here I am just asking myself a rhetorical question in the middle of a podcast. Okay, go ahead.
So you mentioned Bobby Petrino coming in and that nobody saw it. I'm pretty sure I made that call halfway through the season last year, watching see Bobby Petrino at Arkansas. I talked it into existence, and it happened.
I forgot about that. You sure did.
Yeah, you did. You spoke it into existence. But see, here's the thing, though. Your takes are so off the wall and nutcasey that I didn't even look into it to even.
You argued with me.
I did.
That can't happen. That can't happen because he was fired, and once you're fired, you can't come back. I told you it was going to happen.
That was the narrative. It's true. Yep.
He is the proof that when they say never burn a bridge when you leave a job, well, apparently fire extinguishers exist years later and you can still put the fire out. So,
Chris, that was a terrible impression. You can do way better than that.
That was one of my favorite impressions ever, by the way. See? He was on point.
Was he on point? Sound like what's his name from Herber. What is that? The Muppets? Is that the Muppets?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the
Chef or whatever. Anyway,
but
squirrel.
So
anyway,
I'll even make another hot topic tonight on the preview show.
Yeah, I already know what that's going to be.
Sam Pittman gets fired halfway through the season, and Bobby Petrino will be named interim head coach.
If you could see my face right now, I just really want to punch him in the mouth. But it is what it is.
We see your face. Oh yeah, I forgot.
But we do have people who can't. We have people who can't see my face, which is probably a good thing because I look like a hot mess. But it is what it is. So, man, I get it. And the narrative is, well, he should have been fired last year. He should have been gone a long time ago. He's awful. He's terrible. Well, that remains to be seen. So let's talk. We've talked to every school we've previewed. We've talked roster. Taylon Green comes in. KJ Jefferson leaves. He's at UCF. Kudos to him. Hope he does well. We'll never see him. It doesn't matter. Taylor Green comes in as the guy, the transfer. Anything on my end in Arkansas media is they are high on the hog, no pun intended, on this kid. So he's got an arm, he's athletic, he's basically a younger, more built version of KJ Jefferson, apparently. So I don't know how that's going to equate. I don't know what Bobby Petrino is going to cook up because Bobby Petrino has kept everything under lock and key. We have no idea what this offense is going to look like. We have no idea what's going to happen because Rocket Sanders is not there anymore. I mean, so you don't know what to expect.
I mean, after last season, though, is that really such a big loss?
Well,
and that's
no.
not a knock at him either, by the way. I mean,
No.
he was injured and it just never bounced back. But
no.
I mean,
so I truth be told,
So
as a Hog fan, I'm going to sit here and I'll be the first one to say I have no idea what is going to be on that field. And I will quote somebody that we all know, Blake Ruffino. And he says, as somebody who has watched this team for 35 plus years, it is a very scary thing when everybody says Arkansas is going to be terrible. Arkansas is going to be horrible. That's when they'll come back and bite you. So
that's true. Very good point. But
So
realistically, though, this roster is actually not bad. I mean, their defense actually pretty good. I mean, you got Landon Jackson leading the way, who apparently is the face of the defense now. Transferred out of LSU to go to Arkansas, which broke my heart because I saw the upside in the kid, and he is surpassed any expectations I had, and I had pretty high expectations. Kid's awesome.
Absolutely.
But you have Hudson Clark coming back. That is huge. I mean, he's a vocal leader, very talented athlete. Awesome to have him back.
Yep.
You have Danico Slaughter coming in from Tennessee, who is a stud defensive back. I mean, there are some pieces on this defense that can really make a difference. Eric Gregory on the defensive line. I mean, I don't think Arkansas is going to be great this year. I really don't. But I'm not going to write them off completely because they do have some talent. So I still can't even pick a real record in my head yet for them looking at their schedule because there's so many question marks for this team.
So let me get on this real quick. We all know that last year Arkansas had a terrible offensive line, which is not a good reflection on Coach Sam Pittman because that's supposed to be his bread and butter.
Sure.
Now, if anything is to be taken from the first 3 days of practice, it's going to be heavy tight end usage. Taylor Green is going to be your number one guy. And if your quarterback has enough time to get tight ends open, with the offensive line being as bad as it was, they've either gotten the offensive line fixed or that defensive line is really, really bad.
Well, one thing to consider is, though, they literally have 4 brand new faces on the offensive line this year that transferred in. Like, they hit the portal hard on that, and they did good. But see, at tight end, though, that Luke Haas, I hate that kid. I hate him with a passion. Man. Dude, he had his breakout against LSU last year, and he is phenomenal.
Yes.
He can catch anything.
The dude has glue for hands, and if he gets free, he's dangerous. And
that's the thing. If he can get free, that means they fixed the offensive line because to free up your tight end, it takes more time to develop the play.
Exactly.
So if that's what's going on and the offensive line has got better, things might be different this year for Arkansas. But
absolutely,
if they're not better and they're getting open, it doesn't speak much for the D line.
Yeah,
which is scary. Either prospect is scary.
Yeah, so this probably like being okay. So let's unpack it. I'm very biased in this, but I will say this. I'm There's so many question marks. Even I, with all of my contacts at Arkansas and all of my insiders, they don't know what to expect. I certainly don't know what to expect.
Sure.
I don't know if we don't know what type of offense he's going to be running. He won't say. So we have no idea. We don't know if it's going to be run heavy, if it's going to be pass heavy. No clue. The defense, like you said, Cody, that's about the only thing that people know. So that's what they hang their hat on. That's what anybody with any kind of predictions of Arkansas hangs their hat and says this defense is good. What I am hearing, what I am assuming that people are thinking is the offense isn't going to be good. Therefore, the defense is going to be out in the field too long. And so eventually the defense is going to look like garbage because they're going to be too tired. But the problem is you can't say that because there are so many question marks to even unravel. So this is a very scary team for me personally to even begin to understand. Because
absolutely,
you can look at film, you can look at practice, you can look at all this kind of stuff, and that's fine. But it's Bobby Petrino we're talking about.
Yes,
I have
but there's one
no
thing you got to
idea.
think about too, though. There is a
Yeah.
chance that they could have 7 new faces, like transfers, starting on that offense this year. They have 14 offensive players that are brand new this year, including freshmen and transfers. That's
Well, and let's not forget
that's a
the
lot.
30-plus-year-old wide receiver that may be playing.
Oh gosh, I forgot about him, and that dude's super athletic too. Forgot all about him.
He's a professional
actually.
baseball player that enrolled as a walk-on, and I wouldn't. It would not surprise me at all if he didn't see the field. If he does, if he actually does see the field,
absolutely.
So it's going to be interesting. It's so hard, man. Arkansas for me is probably the hardest team to pick. I have an idea in my head of what the preview is. But we talked about the defense. We talked about the offense. Let's just take a look at the schedule and let's spend some time unpacking it because it's a doozy. So they start out with the absolute worst team in Arkansas in UAPB. I know you got to squint to see it. I'll read it. And then immediately after UAPB is Oklahoma State, and they're going to Oklahoma State. That'll be tough. That'll be really, really tough.
But I think it's still a winnable game.
It is winnable. I think it is winnable. They have to play whatever style football that they're going to play, and they just have to execute. UAB is, I mean, man, Trent Dilfer's got that team rolling. That is going to be a very interesting ball game.
What did I say about a month ago about UAB?
I know you said that they would win. I know. I'm not going to give them the win. It's going to be close, but I think there's just enough talent to be a disparity there. So, and then you get into the meat of this thing, and it's just brutal. At Auburn, at A&M, which that's a neutral field. I hate how they say at A&M. That's a neutral field. That's in Dallas, Arlington, Dallas Cowboy Stadium. It'll be a close game. It always is. Then you take on Tennessee at home. You take on LSU at home. Those 4 games, they may very well drop all 4. You got Mississippi State.
Though. LSU isn't a guaranteed loss for you guys. That game is always the one that doesn't matter how good or bad they are.
Yes. No. It could be a field goal game, and it probably will be a field goal game like it was last year when you guys were a 17-point favorite. I should have absolutely bet the house on the under on that.
Absolutely.
Oh, against the spread. At Mississippi State. Mississippi State is another one that is kind of a toss-up. We'll talk about them in the future episode.
I don't look forward to that preview because that is a team I know nothing about this year. They have been so quiet.
Yes, they've been so quiet. Then you got Ole Miss, Texas, Louisiana Tech, and Missouri. That is a brutal schedule, gentlemen. That is a brutal schedule. So I mean, the 4 games I can see that they should win are the non-conference games. The one that I think that would give them the most fits is probably UAB, but there's 4 there. Then realistically, they could. I mean, it all depends. They could be 3-0 going into Auburn. They could be 2-1. They could be 1-2 going into Auburn. I mean, if they win against UAPB, lose to Oklahoma State, lose an extremely close game to UAB, I think the ceiling would collapse. And then you got the next 4 just going to be a gauntlet. So, I don't know. I have a number in my head. I'm not going to say it yet, but what do you got? What's your first? Let's do it this way. Which games stick out to you the most in this schedule?
UAB is definitely my stick out game. Oklahoma State, I think, is actually a fun matchup. I think that I actually think that Arkansas could win the game. I think that Oklahoma State's strength is obviously their offensive side of the ball, and Arkansas's strength is their defensive side of the ball that we know about. And while Ollie Gordon is a great running back, I mean,
what else does Oklahoma State have?
I mean, and don't get me wrong, they have some good talent on that team, but I mean, who's to say that he's going to be able to break free? I mean, look at years ago, Leonard Fournette, one of the best running backs in SEC history, plays Alabama and gets shut down. So, I mean, this could be a situation like that. Obviously, that's 2 totally different teams, but you just never know. But, I mean, when you just look at the schedule, though, I mean, it is a gauntlet. The good thing for them, though, is they have some I'm not going to call them cupcake games, but they have easier games in between these hard stretches. Now, my biggest question is, though, let's say they start this season off 1-3 going into the Texas A&M game. What do you do with Sam Pittman at that point? Do you trust him to keep going, or do you say, hey, bye-bye?
Well, Chris is going to say bye-bye. He'd probably say bye-bye at the beginning of the season. He shouldn't even be there. I don't know. It depends on who they think they can get. That's the reason they haven't pulled the trigger yet. I don't think so. And if they do, so be it. But I mean, he's the offensive coordinator. He's practically going to be running the team anyway. Let's be real. I mean, what exactly is he going to do different that Sam can't do different?
If the offense is the reason for their struggles, would Petrino get the job?
Petrino would 100% get the job, because since the days of Bobby Petrino, Arkansas is tied with Vanderbilt for the most last place finishes overall in the SEC. They've been to fewer bowl games than Vanderbilt in that time. It's just not. That's not. You're going to go back to what you had in your glory years. You're gonna run it back. That's exactly what's going to happen. Now, looking at the schedule, the game that sticks out for me, La Tech.
Right.
And there's a reason I say that. It's a win against Arkansas Pine Bluff. I think it's a win against Mississippi State, who I think is the worst team in the Southeastern Conference.
Okay.
That's 2 wins. La Tech is the difference between 2 wins and 3 wins. You'd be surprised how much difference that little number between 2 and 3 makes.
Sure.
And that's how I see this season falling out for Arkansas. I'm having trouble finding the wins.
Well, because you don't know the team. You have no idea. You don't even have a benchmark to even put it against. So, I mean, hell, let's see. 4-8 for Vanderbilt, right? Found 4 wins for you. You can't find 2 more for me.
I mean,
how dare you?
Maybe Auburn. You're not beating Oklahoma State. That's a pipe dream.
Auburn is your public enemy number 1 this season, I think.
Absolutely public enemy number 1.
And I like it.
And you don't think Arkansas is going to play Texas close?
No.
They got them at home.
Texas is on another level. Stop it, George.
44-20, Chris. Last time we played them, 44-20.
They're on a. This isn't that team.
I mean, it doesn't matter. LSU's the same way.
I'm not seeing you beating Texas. They are
I'm
on
not seeing me
another
beating
level.
Texas either, but you got to give us some kind of chance. They're not winning just 2 games. Sorry, that's not. They haven't won just 2 games since Chad Morris.
When Vanderbilt kicked their tails in your own house.
Was that?
That's
Chad
how
Morris?
bad. Yes, that's how bad this. I'm having trouble finding the wins. I'm being honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Oklahoma State's better. I think UAB's better. Maybe Auburn. I think Texas A&M is a lot better than what you give them credit for.
A&M's
Tennessee will be.
Yeah, but they always play them close. It doesn't matter.
Whether
true.
you play them close or not doesn't make it a win. You can play them close all you want to, but you have to win. That's the problem. I can't see that. Mississippi State is horrible. Ole Miss, that's on another level. Texas is on another level. Tennessee is on another level. Missouri, could they fall apart and struggle without Cody Schrader? Possibly. That might be a game where you could sneak up and win.
Yeah.
But for me right now, just looking at it, I'm seeing 2, maybe 3, possibly a 4th if you can sneak one from Auburn or Missouri.
There we go.
Okay. I mean, when I look at it, I see obviously start out 1-0. I think the Oklahoma State game is going to be different. I think it's going to be a weird matchup. I'm going to be nice and I'm going to give them the W there. And I don't know why I want to believe in Arkansas in that game, but I really do. So I'm going to give you 2-0 there. I'm sticking with my upset by UAB, unfortunately. So 2-1. I'll give you the Auburn game as well. So you'll start out 3-1 in my eyes, 3-2, 3-3, 3-4, 4-4, 4-5, 4-6, 5-6. I don't know how much I trust the defense at Missouri. That's my biggest question. I'm going to be nice, and I'm going to go 6-6.
George
I'm
looks
gonna
like
be
he
the nice
hates
guy.
us right now.
Hey, I put him in a bowl game, so I think he likes me.
It's not that. It's just statistically how Arkansas is. They either are 4-8 or 8-4, 9-3. There's no middle ground. Hardly ever. They hardly ever finish 6-6 or 5-7.
I mean, it's like the show yesterday with Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those teams where they have a lot of new faces, and it's hard to really be able to examine the schedule. And that's the worst thing about the transfer portal is if you're a betting man, don't bet early season games because you just do not know how that team's going to click. You can see footage from practice, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So with Arkansas having so many new guys on offense, with Bobby Petrino joining them, I mean, that's a huge step up. It really is.
It is.
I think I'd have much rather have Houston Nutt, but that's just me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll say the worst they're going to do. I'll say
in Arkansas.
No. I'd say 3-9 is the worst they can do, but I could see realistically, I could see 6-6 being a good year for them. That I'd say, though, I think Pittman needs 7 wins this year to keep his job, though. If I'm being honest.
Right. I mean, it's possible. It's very possible. I mean, that's just what it is.
Well, Arkansas is clearly showing that they're ready to spend some money and invest in the athletics program.
So for me, you know, we talked about Vanderbilt yesterday. The difference for me is the transfers we brought in. We brought in kids from TCU that have had success, that have been in big-time games. We brought in kids that played at top 15 programs, started at those schools. We brought in guys that won 10 games last year. Yeah, sure, it's New Mexico State. But remember who New Mexico State is. It's the worst football program in the history of college football. And they won 10 games there. I mean, it's not like we brought in scrub. I don't know nothing about these transfers that Arkansas has got.
Correct. I mean, some of the guys they brought in are very good dudes, though.
Here's the thing. I love it.
Do they have the track record that these guys have? I think that's why I see the difference there. It's nothing personal against Arkansas. I'm just having trouble seeing wins.
You see it as, I don't want them to have a better record than Vanderbilt. So
I actually don't. I can be completely unbiased in that. That's a brutal schedule, man.
It is brutal. It's been worse before. So I mean, I'll just, the number that sticks out in my head, and I'll just say it. 4-8. That's what I got them at. That's it. I'd be happy with anything more than that. Cody?
I'm gonna stick with I'm gonna be nice and go 6-6. Still losing to UAB.
I think 3-9 is very realistic. Maybe 4-8 is the ceiling.
The ceiling, he said.
But hey, that's a good thing though. Look at it like this: if the bar is being set low, anything they do over that's exceeding expectations.
Correct.
Right. Now it makes me wonder though: does the administration believe in that though? Do they see that as well as, hey, this is a lot this year for them? Are they going to believe in Sam Pittman again, or are they going to make a move with them bringing in Calipari and already having good coach in baseball with Van Horn? I mean, it shows that they're ready to. They're not afraid to spend some money on coaches. Do they make the move finally and say, "Hey, football is a moneymaker. Let's get our money's worth out of it"?
If he has another losing season this year, I think he does. I think they do. I mean, Arkansas is going to have to spend some money regardless. They're going to have to start spending the amount of money they're spending in basketball and football to get the type of caliber talent that they want to get. So, and you got to get a big name coach to do that. So, anyway,
Lincoln Riley to Arkansas.
Yeah, Lincoln Riley. I can assure you, the millions, multi-millions, probably. There's no telling how much money he's getting at USC because they don't tell you. But it's probably astronomical. So,
do you feel how hot it is in the room you're in right now? That's about the temperature of his seat, I think, out in Southern California currently.
Oh, Lincoln Riley? Yeah,
it's warming up.
Sam Pittman the same way. So, anyway, there you have it. The Arkansas Razorbacks. You hear predictions. Make sure you check out the live show Monday, 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. And that's about all we got. So we appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time. Stay golden. We'll see you soon.